Welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be talking about guilt. Specifically, I'll talk about the two different types of guilt, how to free yourself from guilt, and how to be able to use guilt as leverage, effectively as a superpower to help you. And then I'll give you a couple of different examples to really drive the point home and show you specifically how you can use it. So let's define guilt first. What is guilt? Guilt is fundamentally a feeling of regret. So feeling that you did something that you shouldn't have done, or you didn't do something that you feel like you should have done. And these two definitions, they map perfectly onto internal guilt, which is doing something that you feel according to your own standards that you shouldn't have done, and external guilt, which is coming from somebody else, which is feeling that you didn't do something that you feel like you should have done. However, they have different qualities, and I'll talk about the difference in qualities because one is coming from you and the other is coming from somebody else. So for internal guilt, you're really acting in accordance, you're not acting in accordance with your own standards or your own principles. So you say or do something where after you say or do it, you get a feeling of, damn, I shouldn't have said that, or I shouldn't have done that. Say, for example, the example I was going to give you at the top of this video is I was speaking to my mom a few weeks ago. There was a very important decision that I was trying to make. We were brainstorming different ideas. I was a bit frustrated on my side. That frustration kind of came out in terms of me speaking not to my mom about her or anything like that, but using a specific tone. I was a little bit short, like a little bit abrupt, and I apologized to her after that. And she said, "Listen, it's no problem at all. I understand." No, no, no. I said, "No, it's not because I need to basically say this to you because I'm demonstrating to myself." I communicated to her that this is behavior that I want to be able to change. So the opposite of what you did that made you feel guilty, like say for example, you did or said something and then you feel that regret, like I shouldn't have said that. That feeling, so the opposite of that behavior that generated that feeling is your true north. So in that particular instance, what is my true north? My true north is being more patient, being more kind. If I feel like I'm unable to be more patient and more generous with my time in that particular instance because maybe I was in a bit of a rush or whatever the case is, I could have revisited the conversation. Just said, "Hey, Ma, can I call you back in a couple of hours? I'm just going to sort out a couple of things, and then when I'm a little bit more centered, I can call you back and we can have this conversation." So that's the best part about the internal feeling because the internal feeling will show you what you need to do in the future. So the best part about this is you feel worse less often. So when you use the opposite of that behavior as your true north, so you feel worse less often because you know exactly what the right thing to do is, and you do the right things more often because you've created awareness around that particular experience. So the best thing that you can do when you're rectifying the situation, as far as making amends, if you can make amends with that person, is communicate to them that it had nothing to do with them, that you're apologetic. So you're being very genuine. The point here is the words are not as important as the fact that you're very sincere, right? You're sincere, you're genuine, you didn't mean to hurt the other person. If you did, and you want to make that known. You're not making excuses for yourself, but you just want to make that known. And their response is out of your hands. That way, once you do that, you can really let it go because you know that you can't control their own response. You can only control what you do and what you say. And you've done the best that you possibly can. And then after that, you make sure that you make an honest effort not to, repeat the same behavior or repeat the same words that you said or the things that you did. So that way you are improving. So you're improving and you're feeling better simultaneously, which is great. So that's how you're being an alchemist. You're using guilt as a superpower. So you're paying attention to what you're doing. If it's generating regret, you're like, okay, so this generated regret. So in the future, I'll do the opposite of this thing. So I'll feel worse less often and I'll know what to do in the future again. So, and then once you do that, once you give yourself credit, you make amends, you tell yourself you're compassionate to yourself, you show yourself respect, you show yourself love and support. And that no matter what happens, you know that you tried your best to do the right thing, you had good intentions, you made a mistake and you're human, you make mistakes and you speak to yourself like you would speak to your own child because you have to self-parent yourself. I'm assuming that if you're watching this video, you're not a child. So you have to self-parent yourself and speak to yourself compassionately so that way you can generate that encouragement that you would need to make sure that you do the right things moving forward. So that's the internal regret. The external regret is regret that or guilt is guilt that is in association with other people. So what other people say or do to try to change your behavior. So convincing you to do something or to go somewhere, and you've had these experiences with either family or friends and quote unquote making you feel guilty. Now, the reason I put that in quotes, making you feel guilty, is because I want to remind you that this channel is all about you taking control of the power, giving yourself, making sure that you're recognizing that all the tools that you need are within you. Because if you cast your power to other people, if you tell yourself that the reason you did or said certain things is because of somebody else, then you're effectively giving them the power. And when you give somebody else the power, what you're doing is you're making yourself helpless. You're holding yourself hostage and waiting for somebody else to free you, which is completely out of your control. And so you're constantly going to feel despairing, you're going to feel depressed, you're going to feel pissed off, you're going to feel anxious. And so if you want to free yourself from all of those emotions, just know that whatever you do is going to be within your control, and whatever somebody else does is in their control. So that's part of their process, and what you do is part of your process. So you can't control anybody else's intention or their purpose behind whatever it is that they're trying to do. So don't focus on that at all. Don't focus on why they're doing and what they're doing. Just really focus on what your principles and what your values are. So you have to ask yourself, this person that is asking you to do something or trying to massage the situation to get you to say something or do something, go here, go there, do this, do that, whatever the case is, you have to ask yourself, is this in alignment with my principles, with my values, with the character that I want to create? That's the first thing. The second thing is this other person, or is this situation that the other person is inviting me into, or manipulating me to come into, as an example, in more toxic cases, let's put it that way, is that situation going to energize me, or is it going to deplete me? Is this particular situation involving a toxic person? Is it going to be a distraction? Is it involving some kind of a vice? So is this pulling me in different directions that I would rather not go in? So because if that is the case, you have to remember, protect your heart, protect your energy, and you have to spend time with people that support you, that want the best for you, that trust you, who are on your team, and who synergize with you, which means that you're building each other up. So if that is not occurring, then you have to basically make that decision and tell yourself that you're going to act in accordance with what is going to recharge your energy, or is what is going to help you along your mission. And what's going to help you is you need to take the limited time and the energy that you have and put it into people in areas that give back to you energetically. So whether it's having good sleep, healthy eating, exercising, writing, reading, meditating, gratitude memos, spending time with people that you love, working on something that you're passionate about, doing things like this that recharge your energy, and they help you prepare to re-engage in a healthy way. So if what this other person is doing, if they're trying to convince you, persuade you, manipulate you into doing something or going somewhere that you don't want to do or go, like a place that you don't want to go to, or some people that you don't want to see, a situation that you don't want to be involved with, you have to ask yourself these two things. Is this in alignment with my principles, or the principles that I want to develop, with my character, or the character that I want to develop, the virtues that I have, or the virtues that I'm moving towards? Is it in alignment with that? And or is it in alignment with recharging my energy? So is this going to give me more energy? Am I going to be able to synergize with the situation with this person or not? If it's not doing one of those two things, then you already know what the decision is. So you have to make sure that you make that known. And it's very important to know that there are distinctions here as well. So a good example I'll give you is specifically around when I purchased the sales training program. It was a $12,000 program. It got me from zero. I was sleeping in my car at the time. I was effectively homeless, and I went to $200,000 in less than a year and a half, right? So 200K per year, less than a year and a half. I didn't consult with anybody as far as taking that program, because I knew that people were going to convince me not to do it. And in fact, I confirmed that suspicion after I started making money, and people were telling me that, yeah, I thought it was a scam. I would have told you not to do it. And in my head, I was thinking, well, that's why I didn't ask you, right? So, and these are people that are close to me. These are people that are close to me, my family. So it doesn't mean that you need to cut off people forever. I mean, maybe you do if they're toxic, right? You'll end relationships, and everybody's ended relationships, but you have to remember that you have to be discerning as well. So there might be instances or moments where you want to separate yourself from other people so you can make the right decisions. but you have to make sure that whatever it is that you're doing it because you know that it's in accordance with your own best interest, that is basically expanding, right? In circles that are moving outwards. So it's good for you, it's going to be good for your family, for your friends, the ones that truly care about you, the ones that truly love you, the ones that you truly care about and love as well. It's going to be good for your community. So you want to basically have this ripple effect outwards in everything that you do for yourself. And if that's not going to give back to you, then that's not a situation that you want to be a part of. So you have to be able to distinguish between what is internal. You flip it, use it as a superpower, make amends, you know exactly what to do in the future. So you're less likely to feel worse, more likely to feel better, and to do the right things in the future. So hooray for that. And external guilt coming from somebody else that has nothing to do with you. And you have to ask yourself those two questions. Is it in alignment with my purpose? Is it in alignment with me recharging my energy? And is this going to give to me as we both grow and synergize together or not? And if not, you know what the decision should be. So hope that video was helpful. I'll keep it there. If you want me to expand on this topic, I can definitely do that. If you have a comment, please leave it down below. If you want me to cover something, go ahead and ask a question. I respond to all of the comments. I respond to all the questions. I'll record videos on your questions. And it always helps if you like the video, sub to the channel as well. You can sub to my newsletter and follow me on X because I'm there, and you can DM me on X as well. So until next time, I will see you soon, and I hope this was helpful for you.